Hello, everyone, and welcome. If you're looking for the presentation by Lionel Goldgewicht on visual special effects and theta, you're in the right place. This is part of the RICOH THETA South by Southwest online virtual booth. And we'll give people a few more minutes to come in and get settled, and then we'll get started. Maybe I'll move to this slide because this is what we're talking about today. All right, it's 2 minutes past, so maybe we'll go ahead and get started. I'll just do a few housekeeping items first. I'm Jesse Kasman. There's also Craig Oda on the line. We're from theta360.guide. It's a Theta developer site. And if you're working with the Theta, doing any kind of development, a good place for tutorials, for a forum, for YouTube videos, repos, all sorts of information that is helpful, and a great place to dig in and ask questions. You're welcome anytime. For today, the discussion with Lionel, it's open. If you want to ask questions at any point by chat or even by audio, by all means dig in. If you're not asking questions, please stay on mute so we can keep down the background noise. And yeah, you can ask questions by chat at any point. I'll just go back and do a super quick, yeah, so this is, we're gonna be talking with Lionel Goldgewicht and about HDRI imagery, and Goldgewicht Consulting has several apps. HDRI is the name of one of them, and also virtual dice. These are pretty cool. Lionel's going to be covering these and giving us lots of details. So maybe having said that, Lionel, if you'd like to, please share your screen and get started. Welcome.
Did you see the slide?
I can see it. It looks great.
So thank you, and of course thank you all for being here today, and welcome for this session on visual special effect and theta. I would also like to take this opportunity to warmly thank Rico, Jesse, and Craig from theta360.guide, and I'm very happy to be there with you today. So, who I am. Lionel Goldgewicht, a developer located in France with 20 years of experiences specializing in the development of mobile and 3D application for clients like Disney, Orange, and many others. I'm also the author of the HDRI application, which I will introduce to you in a moment. The application is available on the Apple Store, intended for everyone from professionals to 3D enthusiasts. If I have to describe the application in one sentence, I will say HDRI will allow you to create stunning photorealistic images. You may think that is not possible or too complex. So we will, here are some examples of what you will be able to do with the application. So let's go. Can you tell me if what is real or not in this picture?
That's hard to tell. Well, I'm guessing the bunny. maybe because it's center.
Yeah, yes,
Pretty,
you're right.
pretty hard to tell.
That's exact. The toy in the middle of the stage is virtual. It doesn't exist at all. As you can see, this image contains a lot of small details that are essential to get a photorealistic image. Look at the lighting, the shadow, the reflection. They are all very, very subtle, but it's the way to go to be able to realize a photorealistic image. This is an advertising for a brand of toy made using the HDRI application and the RICOH THETA 5 device. And thanks to the French 3D agency Mascot Plus for sharing this photo. And so I will go to another example.
Lionel, in that last one, the rest of the image is real. It's a photo.
Oh yeah, only the bunny are totally virtual. Everything behind is the shot for the commercial.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why the integration is very nice because, as you see, the color match totally. The shadow are quite the same. So,
yep. That's great.
So,
Thanks.
so let's go to another sample. Is this real for you or? Sorry. Can you tell me if there is something real or not in this image?
Well, it's hard to tell. They look real to me. Maybe in the upper left, those two might be a little, I don't know, stiff or something. I guess if I had to guess, on the left is the object, the three versions of you and the model, and on the right, the big picture maybe is you.
So, in fact, everything is totally is totally 3D. This is a 3D render. So this is my clone in different lighting situations. As you can see, we can control just absolutely everything. If you want to have a sample of you during your vacation with a sunny day on the beach, at Venice, or everywhere with this kind of technology, you will be able to achieve that. So let's go to another example. Can you tell me again what is real or not?
Well, I'm starting to think everything is fake, Lionel. So I guess all four are objects.
Yes, totally true.
Okay.
So in this example, we can see the importance of the panoramic image. The environment is visible on the sphere with different level of intensities. Spheres have different materials with specific physical characteristics. For example, reflection, absorption, refraction of the light, and many more. That's why this sample is interesting, because we really see the HDR map on the reflection, and this is a totally 3D render. So this was made also with the help of the HDRI application and the Theta RICOH 5 device. So what does HDRI mean? High dynamic range imaging is a technique used in photographic imaging films and in ray traced computer-generated imaging to reproduce a greater range of luminosity than what is possible with standard digital imaging or photographic techniques. We will use these techniques to create panoramic image in HDR or XR format, which can then be used as a light source for a 3D segment. We want to capture, in fact, as much information as possible from a scene. Intensities and positioning of the light source, reflection, data, in order to obtain the best photorealistic 3D image possible. How does it work? Let's take an example of a SEM, a desk. We want to add an object that doesn't exist. As you can see on the graph, there is a position just below the lights. And for example, we want to have a car, a toy, so a virtual object. To be able to achieve that, we will use the camera, and as you see, the camera is positioned where the virtual object should appear. Camera and iPhone are ready for use, and a Wi-Fi connection is established between these devices. The application is launched, and panorama capture begins. The application controls the camera and take many pictures with different settings. As you can see on the right, the first picture was taken, the second one with different settings, another one, and of course, it's depend of the settings that you are using for the capture. After that, the capture has been made. The pictures are ready to be exported to your favorite software. The picture can then be merged with software such as Photoshop, PTGui. The goal is to get an image in HDR or XR format. Why we need these files is because we will be able after to use the HDR as a light source of for lighting a 3D scene. So now let's jump to how to use the application. Here is the main screen. It allows you to view the list of panorama captured using the app. At the top right, you have a button to display the information screen. The information screen is very important. It allows you, for example, to check if your iPhone is connected to your camera. Here is the screen that appears when the camera is not connected. And if you check the value of the connected field, you will see that the value is no in this case. So it means that the camera is not connected. Here is the screen that appears when the camera is connected. This time the value of the connected field is yes. As you can see, you have also access to other data, model, serial number, firmware version. And if you scroll down the list, you will see, for example, the battery level. Always check the battery level before capturing a panorama. It's really, really important, of course, if you try to use the application with 5% of the level of the battery of your device, it will be really dangerous. So now we are back on the list of the panorama. At the top of the screen, you have access to the button allowing to display the screen, all the screen collect programs. What is this screen? This screen gives you access to various programs that will allow you to control the type of photo you are going to take. For example, the settings are not the same if you are in interior scene, exterior, and so on. If you select or create a program, always be sure to check its compatibility with the camera you want to use. You have two presets on the screen, one sample for the Theta 5, one sample for the Theta Z1. They all have 7 shots pre-selected. You can create your own programs. You will see this functionality after. But to select a program, you simply have to click on the item on the list. You see on the animation. For example, now I will show the program details. When we scroll, we see that we have exactly 7 shots. And you also see that the shutter speed variation between the shots, which is it's exactly what we want to achieve with this application. In fact, to be able to capture every intensity of the light, we have to change the shutter speed between a certain number of shots. This is called the bracketing technique. It's a very well-known way to go. So if we come back to the list of panorama now, we will now create a panorama. So how it's work? Simply tap on the button. Now we will have to enter the name of the panorama. So for example, we will call it test. After that, the application will ask to the camera to take the 7 pictures that we already set up. So we have just to wait, and at the end of this process, we will download all pictures to the device, to the iPhone. When it's done, we will come back to the main screen. As you see, the panorama has been added to the list. Statistic has been updated. We see that we have one panorama captured with 7 pictures taken. If you want to delete the panorama, it's simple. Just slide on the left with like with every iOS application, and of course tap to the delete button. Now we will go to the panorama details. So we just need to tap on the item on the list, and that's the panorama details. So you will in this screen have access to different information. For example, the timestamp of the shot, the resolution of the image, and the 7 shots, a preview of the 7 shots that we take for this panorama. You have also an action button on the right, which will let you choose between different actions that you can perform on the panorama. For example, you can share the panorama by airdrop, or you can geolocalize the panorama. If you let's go to geolocalize the panorama to see how it's work. So again, we have a waiting screen during the process of geolocalization. At the end, the geolocalization of the panorama will be added to the screen. If we scroll down, you see the map and the geolocalization data. So now we will just go back to the program creation screen. This is an important one because you will be able to create your own program, and that's what we will see just now. Again, you just have to tap on create program on the button. After that, again, we will need to enter a name for the program. So we will call it test again. And as you see, the program has been added to the list. So for instance, we have 0 shot because we just create the program and we just set the name. So to be able to set up everything, you just have to click on the arrow on the right, and you will have access after that to this screen. Of course, for instance, everything is empty, but if you tap on the create a new shot, you will have a new entry immediately on the list. This shot, all value on this shot are editable. And for example, we will change the shutter speed. So you will have just a selection box with the all shutter speed possible value. So for example, we will choose 150. As you can see, the shutter speed has been changing. We can create a new shot. And again, we can repeat the operation how many times that we want. So it was a really an important functionality of HDRI, because like we saw, the situation can change radically. You can have a sunny day. You want maybe sometimes take a panorama indoor and outdoor. So to be able to set up your own program is an important functionality of HDRI. So that's all for HDRI. And
hey Lionel, this is Jesse. How many shots do you recommend for a normal HDRI image? Is there a number?
Oh, it really depends of the situations. 7 is quite nice, but you usually you can go also to more short, like 9 or it really depends. But for example, with the settings that you have in the application, you can achieve a really nice photorealism image with these settings. And of course, you can try different value to choose to adjust on the situation.
Is it just based on testing? Do you normally start with 7? Is kind of 7 a normal number, or?
Is just a choice that I made from my experience.
Yeah.
I probably myself took with these settings 100 of Panorama, really. Yeah. In fact, I use this application from many years now. At the beginning, I made this application because I was not able to have every functionality that I wanted for this type of technology. Mm-hmm. There was many applications, really nice application on the store, but I wanted to be able to save them, save my panorama, to keep all pictures inside my iPhone. So that's why I developed this application at the beginning for me, and I decided 2 years after the start to publish this application to be able to share this with others. And so these settings works quite well, but of course you are free to choose your own.
Okay, understood.
And I will just jump now to another section. It's a presentation of another application that I made. The application is Virtualized. High dynamic range image can also be used as a light source in real-time 3D application. And we will just see how to use this technology, for example, in this application. So this is a small preview of a different screen. It's a video, and I will start. And in fact, this is an interactive fun dice presented with a photorealistic rendering. So we cannot see that now, but I just slide the dice with my hands, and I have also the ability to roll the dice randomly. But the important things to know here is that all dice are have an HDRI map behind. The map is not visible directly, but the map is used to illuminate the 3D scene. As you can see, we can go we can achieve a high level of realism even in a real time application like a mobile app game or everything you want. I will just show you more slowly. For example, here, if you take a look, you will see the reflection of the map on different side of the dice, and of course the lighting. Uh, the lighting is really important, and so we can achieve a great level of realism in a real-time application. That's why I wanted to show you this sample, because HDRI map finally can be used in many fields. You can use it for visual special effects. You can use it in 3D application, and you can use it for augmented reality, virtual reality. So there is a lot of possibility with them, and I hope that the application HDRI will help you to this process.
What industries do you see people using your application in? Is it for this type of 3D assets? Do they use it in advertising or software game development or movie? Where do you think they're using it?
For instance, the application is used by 3D agency and a visual effects supervisor in movies, because they already use this kind of technology. They, for example, they have a RICOH THETA 5 or Z1, and they already use that to build their own HDRI map. And they need to have a tool with high level of flexibility, because they don't necessarily want to build the HDR map because they have them. I mean, this is professional, and they already use a great tool like Nuke and many others to build their own map with their own settings. And the settings and the colorimetry settings sometimes is really very precise. So the first goal of this application was to be able to give a solution for these problematics. So to be able to save all your panorama, to be able to take it, transfer the panorama quickly on the device, and to be able to have some flexibility. So the main use is visual special effect, but you're totally right. So we can use it for many other fields. And the next version of the application, I will add some other functionality to open more possibilities. But you can already use this map for a game. So that's exactly what I did with the application Virtualized, in fact. Without HDRI map, the Virtualized application will look totally different. It's really a game-changing technology in 3D to, if you want to achieve a high level of realism easily and quickly, that's a really great technology for that. And without 360 camera, of course, it's the story totally different. When this technology appeared 20 years before, to achieve the same result, it took many days to be able to do something like that. And now you can capture a totally you can capture a scene in 1 minute, and it's just totally amazing. And this is possible, of course, only because a great device like the Theta RICOH exists.
You know, we're I'm in California, and I guess the two industries around in my area, just to kind of understand where HDRI files are used. One is the movie industry of California, where they, you know, they make movies and people watch. And I guess a lot of people want to be involved in the movie industry is pretty difficult. And I believe they do use these cameras. Maybe they're even using your particular app to take the lighting on the set. And then I guess they go back to their studio or something and they light the 3D assets. Is that also common among your user base, where they go on set and they get the lighting and then I guess they go home, right? And they build the model after that. Is that the common use?
Absolutely. You're totally right. That's exactly one of the main use of the Theta 360 camera.
Yeah.
And,
how long does it take to get one scene? Because, just talking to people around me, it seems like people are waiting for them to take the shot. And there could be other directors something. Hey, can you move quickly? In the workflow, is that a problem where they have to go in there and quickly get the light and then leave?
You just point really important problems. You're totally right again. And that's why I made this application. I wanted also to collect feedback of user to understand more deeply their problematics and to be able to adjust the applications to solve these problems. So of course, to be able to capture everything with the most flexibility is something really important for them. And that's why HDRI application has been made, and that's why also in the next version you will see some adjustments that come directly from feedback from user, and you are totally right. That's one of the main problematic that they have exactly.
So if they're taking, let's say, 7 brackets, do they ever change the bracket settings between shots? Meaning that they move, right? And then do they ever adjust the brackets between the shots, or once you set up your brackets, you might take 5 scenes, 5 lighting scenes from that?
Again, I'm impressed because you describe every new functionality of the next version of HDRI.
Oh, really?
But that's why I made the program section. The idea behind the program section is first to give you the possibility to set exactly what you want. So you can, if you want to take 1 picture, you can take 1 picture. You want 9, you take 9. So you are totally free with that. Okay. And of course, there are some situations on sets where it's important to be able to change the settings quickly, because a daylight scene is not the same settings as a night scene, for example. So again, flexibility is the key, and I believe that if we give more flexibility to the user, they will they know better than me all the problematics that they have all day, and so that's why I wanted to be the most flexible as possible, and this is the objective of the HDRI application. But you totally point.
Yeah, I don't make the shots. Just sometimes people they're excited about the camera, right? Because like I don't make these special effects, but you talk to these people that they're making it, and they're super excited because I guess it's a huge time saving. I think it's kind of changed the way they capture the lighting on set, and they have an emotional response when they see apps like yours, because they're like, oh, I can do it now with kind of a cheap camera.
Yeah, yes, that's why it's, the RICOH camera is a game-changing technology, because with usual camera like a reflex, for example, the process, of course, can give a better quality of resolution, but it takes really a long time.
Yeah,
it's
it
more
does.
complicated. And also the size is also important. With the RICOH 360 camera, you can put there nearly everywhere, and you can have some point of view that it will really nice for some really nice effects. And of course, with a traditional DSLR camera, it's another story.
Do you about the quality? I guess you're focused on the RICOH Theta Z1, but some people they may just be experimenting. They're not quite professional yet. Is it possible to get good HDR with something like the SC2, which is lower resolution, or is it? Do you think almost all your customers are using the Z1 or something like that for the highest resolution of a 360 camera?
I think professional will use the Z1 for one reason. Raw file, DNG file at the end instead of JPEG. This is really important because they not only capture the lighting, but also they capture colorimetry information. And in raw file, you keep all this information in the file itself. Mm-hmm. You lose information with JPEG. So typically, they will use a Z1. They will export a raw file in DNG. Maybe they will even do the stitching themselves. And they will be able, with some software like Nuke, to adjust the colorimetry perfectly with a standard shot. We call it a backplate shot, like we saw, for example, with the toys. In fact, the process is to take a shot of the point of view, and after in post-production, we'll just put the 3D object in the scene, and the HDRI map is used behind the scene to be able to create the lighting, and also to give some information about the reflection, like what we saw with the sphere. You remember the sphere in the sphere? We saw the reflection, but the map was not visible. In fact, it was just a photography, standard photography. We call it a backplate. And so professional will use, I think, the Z1, but you can achieve so great result also with the Theta 5, even with JPEG. So sometimes the difference is really difficult to understand. Of course, professional will see, but for many people, it will be difficult to see the difference.
Yeah, I didn't realize in your earlier presentation that are they capturing DNG files, or are they capturing JPEG when they set up the parameters? They're taking 7 DNG files and then they're merging it into the HDRI, or is it JPEG?
In the sample that we saw, it was JPEG, but in the next version of the HDRI, you will be able to choose more deeply the resolution, for example, the file format and many things. So it was the sample that you saw was exclusively with JPEG. But it's a good question.
They're moving to DNG because it has more color information.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the main features of the next version of HDRI.
Oh.
Lionel,
so the current version of your application supports the DNG, or is it the next version?
It will be the next version, but in fact, it supports also because the file can be stored in your camera. So actual user, in fact, use the HDRI application to control the flow of taking the pictures. And the only difference is that the DNG are stored on the camera, not on the device. And in the next version, you will be able to download the DNG directly, and you will be able to choose the resolution if you want.
Really? The file is pretty big, right? The DNG file is much bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why the current version only download the JPEG, but the download also will be an option, and always with this idea to give the most flexibility as possible to the user.
You're going to transfer it from the camera to your app with the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Like those files are pretty big.
Yeah,
the DNG files. That's the plan.
The user will have the possibility to do that, and but of course, you can do like you want. For example, with the current version.
They might use a USB cable or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty big.
Yeah,
because you gotta take seven DNG per scene, right? Like 5 to 7, right? So it's gonna be that's a lot of data.
That's why the download will be an option in the next version.
Yeah.
We kind of flowed into asking questions at the end. I just wanted to make it clear, other people on the line, you're welcome to ask questions through chat or through audio. You can jump in at any time. Hey Lionel, we had also actually another question. So you get the, say, 7 images, you transfer them over. What's the normal software that you use to build the files?
For me, my preference is PTGui. PTGui is a really great application. Of course, I know that that you also you use also this application, but this application is really great, and I think that many people use it, especially professionals.
Well, what's the advantage of PTGui over Photoshop? Just so that, because some people may not be familiar, right? And I think that as a professional, your opinions, people are kind of interested in it. Are there some points about it that you like? Because they may have Photoshop. To buy PTGui, they have to spend more money, and so they want to know, right?
You're right. It's possible to do the job with Photoshop, but PTGui will give you more functionality and more possibilities. You can correct the bad shot, for example, with bad artifact. You can correct them. You can adjust the lens settings, and the main difference is there. But of course, you can create an HDR image with different software, or you can with the merge of the HDR with Photoshop is quite simple. And you just have to select all the pictures and just click on one button. But the quality of the HDR will not be the same. Also, sometimes I notice some difference between PTGui and some other application. I think the PTGui that are really strong, and they are using really great algorithm, and I think it's many years of research. I think, and that's why the result is always really nice.
Are they stitching the DNG file, you think, with PTGui as well too? I guess you must use it, right? So they're using the stitching of PTGui.
Oh yes, it's a commonly used workflow to export the DNG and just stitch them also and merge them with PTGui. Yes.
You should contact them. Maybe you can get a bundle deal, like bundle PTGui and your software for the visual special effects industry.
Oh, it's a nice idea.
Yeah, they might do it. I mean, because you might have better entree into the visual special effects industry, right? So
thank you for the idea. I will try, but it's a really nice application.
it's a good bundle, right? Because
Yes.
it's a very small company. They might just be willing to cooperate with you for this type of vertical industry.
And I also heard recently that a new application called Substance Designer or Substance Painter. It's a famous application in 3D, well known. They made a presentation in August, if I remember, and they show a picture with the Theta device and their application. I think it's not impossible that they will give some functionality like Photoshop or PTGui to be able to merge the pictures in their software. So this is something to take a look at, because Substance 3D is a really great software, and HDRI is a workflow used in the heart of the application. So we'll have to take a look on that. I don't know if it's already a functionality that this is accessible.
What was the name of the software again? I'm sorry.
Substance 3D. This is a French company. We made this software, if I remember well, and the company was acquired by Adobe recently. So this is an Adobe product now. Really great products again. Especially, for example, if you want to create really great details on the 3D. For example, in the current picture on the dice, you see that the dice on the surface have some defaults, some artifacts, and typically with the Substance 3D, you can focus on the creation of the texture of the shader also, and you will be able to reproduce any physical phenomenon in life really deeply, and this is a really common use for them to use a HDRI file. So maybe the future will be something with them. I don't know.
Do you plan to expand into the Android phone market too, or are you, I guess you have limited resources, so it's understandable if you just focus on iOS, but just in case, some people, they might like Android, is there any planned support for it? We could help you get the word out, if so.
For instance, the main idea is iOS. Yeah. But I don't close the door, because I just want to see with the next version, and especially the version 3, how the user will react with this application. And after that, I will try. I will see if it's reasonable or not to invest time on the read, because like I say, the beginning of this story was an application that I wrote from me, in fact, and finally I decided to recently to open this application for everybody, but it's really quite a big work to.
Yeah, I understand. So, when the photographer takes or the person takes a shot, how do they get out of the scene? Is there a timer where they have to run and hide out of the scene, or what's the actual workflow to take the picture? When they trigger it with their mobile phone, is there a delay so they run away, or how do they get out of the scene?
Yeah, the main use is to go behind the scene and to create the panorama at this moment. Okay. So you go behind the wall, for example, and you just tap create panorama. But of course, in some situation, it can be difficult to find a
Sure.
wall.
Like, outdoor, maybe, right?
Especially outdoor. That's why I plan to add a new functionality in the next version also, or not the next one, but maybe the next after, to be able to capture twice the
Oh,
the
like a
panorama.
time shift.
Yeah, exactly. So you go behind the camera,
The lens.
we take 7 shots, and after you go in front of the camera, we take 7 shots, and I will just use the right part, the good part of the picture, and merge them after this open.
Well, that would be an amazing feature, because I think some people they're running behind a tree or something, and they may get injured. Because they're taking it, right? They have to like look for a tree or something.
No, that's totally true. And you described also my first panorama that I shot when I made the application. I was on the forest, I remember, and I'll always be trying to find the best tree to take the best capture. But and also you have to be careful because when it's great to be able to go the most fast as possible, because sometimes people also can go over
the scene, huh?
over the scene.
So if somebody walks, let's say you're taking 7 brackets, and one of the brackets, like somebody has walked in front of the camera, can you just retake that one bracket, or what do you have to? What do you do if during the sequence of 7 shots, like one of the shots has been messed up because of like somebody walked?
Unfortunately, you will have the best option will be to capture again, or to remove this picture at the end. So between merging 7 files, you will merge only 6, for example.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But, it's difficult to imagine a way to solve these problems. Yes, it's difficult.
Okay.
Hey, we're getting close to the end of time.
Oh, okay.
So sorry, I'm jumping in here. If there are any more questions, we could sneak in one more, but otherwise, maybe we need to finish up. I don't see anything in the chat. And so, yeah, maybe with that, I think we will bring it to a close.
You'll have this up on YouTube, right?
This will go up on YouTube in the next couple hours. And I want to say a big thanks to Lionel. Really appreciate all this information. It's just fantastic. Thank you very much. And also everyone else participating on the call.
Thank you to everybody.
Okay, everyone, take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye-bye.